Hello everyone, welcome to Sci-Fi Recap X. In this video, I will recap a comedy science fiction film entitled Idiocracy. Please put on your headset, stay away from the crowds, and here is the recap of Idiocracy. This man's name is Joe. He is a librarian at a United States military library. One day, Joe was told by his friend that he was ordered by his superior, named Collins, to undertake a very secret mission. On the other hand, Collins was having a meeting with military officials. He explained that he would test the hibernation tool on humans within a year. The hibernation tool works the same way as the hibernation tool in the Interstellar movie. That is hibernating humans for a certain period, without making the humans experience aging. The first test subject is Joe. Joe was chosen because he only has an average IQ, and another reason is that Joe's current status is that he doesn't have a family, so that in the future, the search volume will be easy to control. And the second subject is a comfort woman named Rita. Rita was chosen for the same reason as Joe, namely not having a family, and also Rita was attracted by the huge reward Collins promised. But to get Rita, Collins must make a deal with Rita's boss named Upgrade, that Collins should acquit all government charges against Upgrade for his dirty business. In the laboratory, Rita told Joe that she was very scared. But Joe explained that everything would be fine, because previously scientists have successfully tested hibernation tools on dogs. And finally, the mission is executed. Several months passed. Collins was arrested for being caught working with a criminal, Upgrade. As a result, all the top military officers were caught and the government decided to destroy the military base, to turn it into a garbage dump. But no one noticed that Joe and Rita were still asleep in their hibernation device. Years passed. Humans with high IQs prefer not to have children, while humans with low IQs have more children. Scientists are also more concerned with research on animal intelligence than human intelligence, so that over time, the human population on Earth is filled with humans with low IQs. By 2505, the United States had been turned into a mountain of trash. One small touch of trash can knock down some piles of garbage. So that the Joe hibernation tool was accidentally carried away by the garbage, up to the apartment of a city resident named Frito. Not long after, Joe finally woke up from hibernation. He asked Frito about where he is now. But Frito, who was watching his favorite absurd program, got annoyed and then threw Joe out of his apartment. The conditions around the city made Joe very surprised. Everyone was acting strange and no one had any respect for each other. Even the previously clean city now looks very shabby. Then Joe decided to go to the hospital to check his health. But how surprised Joe was when he saw a hospital that was supposed to be clean. It looked the other way around. Although there are also some technological advances, it seems that people here don't understand how to use them. When Joe wanted to drink, Joe was surprised because the water he drank was not ordinary water, but it is a kind of soda water. Then Joe asked someone, "Why do hospitals use sparkling water to drink and wash their faces?" The person just laughed and said that plain water was only used in the toilet. In the hospital, it is not doctors who check the health of their patients, but robots who do it. Feeling unsure about it, Joe decided to meet a real doctor at the hospital. But when Joe saw a magazine, Joe was surprised by the date and year listed in the magazine. Joe thought that it should be 2006. Why does the magazine say 2505? At first, Joe did not believe this. But after Joe confirmed the date on the calendar, he began to believe. Joe went straight to the window and saw the very chaotic condition of the city. Then Joe realized that he had been hibernating for 500 years. The doctor said to Joe why Joe doesn't have an identity tattoo. Without any reason, the doctor looked very scared and immediately sounded the alarm. It turned out that in the United States in 2505, someone who did not have an identity tattoo was classified as a serious crime. Finally, Joe was responded to and brought to court. But in court, Joe got bullied by everyone who was there. Joe explained in logical language that he was innocent, but no one understands what Joe is saying. They just laughed and carelessly stated that Joe should be jailed. Before being put in prison, Joe was taken to a place to get an identity tattoo made. Then Joe is taken to the IQ test room to determine which prison Joe will be placed in. I don't know what the people here are thinking, but Joe was confused about the IQ test question, which turned out to be very easy. even easier than the IQ test questions for elementary school children. But even so, the other participants found it very difficult to answer very easy questions. While in prison, Joe easily tricked the guards so he could get out of prison. Joe then went to the Frito apartment to ask Frito for help. Joe also explained that he was from 2005. Although at first, it was difficult for Frito to understand what Joe meant, in the end, Frito did. Frito said that there was a time machine somewhere. With the lure of a lot of money, Frito also wanted to help Joe. They both left in a Frito car. Unintentionally, on the way, they met Rita, who had awakened from hibernation, just like Joe. But unfortunately, Joe's identity tattoo was detected by the police. Long story short, the three of them managed to escape the police. However, Frito had to lose his car, which was immediately destroyed by the police. But the funny thing is, instead of sad to lose his car, Frito looks very happy to see his car destroyed. Arriving at a shopping center, Joe was again caught by the police. However, this time Joe was not taken to prison, but Joe was taken to the White House. Joe's IQ test results at that time showed that Joe was the smartest human on Earth. Precisely the smartest human in the year 2505. Because of that, the President of the United States named President Camacho appointed Joe to be the Minister of Home Affairs, with the hope that the smartest person in the world like Joe can solve problems in the country, such as crops that cannot grow, and the economic crisis. Long story short, Joe has been appointed as a minister. Joe began to investigate the heart of the problem in the United States with other ministers. The ministers didn't understand what Joe was talking about. Joe requested that Frito be summoned to the White House to be his advisor. Joe just wanted to use Frito to draw a map of where the time machine was. Finally, Frito gave a map of where the time machine was located. But when opened, it turns out that the map only contains something like this. When he returned to the field, Joe finally found the crux of the problem about plants that can't grow. It turned out that the cause was that the water used to water the plants was sparkling water, and not plain water. Because for city dwellers, sparkling water is their staple source of life from time to time. Joe asked to stop watering the fields from using soda water to using plain water. And because of Joe's decision, came another problem. Many people protested because they were fired from the soda company. Of course, the company that owns the soda drinks is also angry because of the cessation of distribution of their drinks. Eventually, they all sued Joe. The president also gave Joe a very severe punishment, namely a deadly tournament. On the other hand, Rita saw that the plants had succeeded in thriving. Then Rita invited Frito to go to the tournament venue to tell the president of Camacho about the plants that had grown. But unfortunately, President Camacho did not believe what Rita said. With Frito's help, Rita rented a camera that Frito would then use to record crops in the fields. Long story short, Rita succeeded in broadcasting the thriving plants with Frito as the cameraman. And thanks to that, Joe was released from his sentence and appointed by the president of Camacho as vice president. Several years have passed. Joe has now become president of the United States. Joe is also married to Rita, and they are blessed with 3 of the smartest children in the world. Meanwhile, Frito became Joe's vice president by having several wives and very many children. Joe doesn't go back in time because it turns out that the time machine that Frito is referring to is a playground. And the film ends. Okay, everyone. The message we can take from this film is, never feel like a useless person. Because maybe someday, you can be the most useful person.